Hello, Lynn Watts here with Wyatt the Wonder Dog Books. And today I want to talk about an activity that you can do with students that will help them with conflict resolution. So we know that conflict resolution is pretty much just a part of any relationship, that there are always going to be disagreements and conflicts. And of course, you can lead with that sort of information. And then you want to talk with students about what do you do when there is a conflict between you and a friend. And so, three words here that identify the strategy, and it's called stop, think, and talk. All right. So, pretty much self explanatory. But the stop part, I think it's good to incorporate here breathing. So, you want to help students to stop, pause, and get control of any emotions that they might have. And so this is a great time to teach some sort of breathing technique like box breathing, something along those lines. So the first part is stop and breathe. The next part is think. And in this part of the strategy, you want to teach students to think about their perspective, think about the perspective of the other person, might think about problem solving, things that they could do, that sort of thing. And then the last part is talk. And I like to break this one down into two parts. So I think the first part needs to be something along the lines of reflecting. So in this case, you might teach students just to simply reflect back to the other person what they understand is going on. So, for example, it might be, it sounds to me like you're very frustrated, or it sounds like you are angry because, or this might be a good place to use the I statement. I feel, so you're actually reflecting your own ideas at this point. I feel when you, and then I want, you could use that in this situation. So I think it's important to have some sort of identifying of emotions at this point, not just problem solving, not just telling the other person what they ought to do, but rather identifying some feelings, then suggesting some ways to solve the problem, some different strategies, and then, of course, a time to listen and to hear what the other person has to say. So I think stop, think, and talk is a good way to introduce it and to introduce these different pieces. But it's going to be necessary to flesh them out a little bit. Anytime there's a disagreement, it's not as simple as simply taking a breath and then thinking of one thing and then telling the other person what to do. That doesn't always go over well. So incorporating in there some paying attention to feelings, some reflecting back to the other person, understanding their perspective, and then sharing how they feel and what they would like to see happen as well. So again, stop, think, and talk. A nice way to suggest conflict resolution. And obviously, I think this takes some maturity on the part of the child. So this is probably an activity you'd want to do with third grade and up. All right. So hope that helps in your lessons that you teach on solving conflicts. Thanks so much for listening.